y'all, it's Maddie from the Itty Bitty Homestead Committee. Danny's not home, so that means one thing and one thing only. I'm gonna make food that he's gonna wanna eat because he isn't home. So, let's hop into it.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take about 4 pieces of bacon and I'm going to chop them up a little fine here. Rabbit is one of those proteins where you want to cook it in some kind of oil. Today it's just going to be bacon fat because that's what I decided sounded delicious. I'm going to take those pieces, throw it in a pan on medium-high heat until the fat is rendered. Then I'm going to take those pieces and set them aside for later in a bowl. The only thing I'm going to put on the rabbit now is salt, and I'm just going to throw it into that rendered fat on the fat side down for about 15 minutes on one side. Don't forget to put your top on your pan because this is kind of how it cooks. Next, I'm going to work on my salsa verde. I'm going to take these tomatillos. I'm going to take their little leaves off and throw them into a pot of water. You know, it's funny, Danny was actually the one who taught me how to make salsa verde, and he always gets like this huge amount of tomatillos, but yet it always seems like he's always forgetting they're in the fridge, and I'm the one who ends up making the salsa. I just found that to be kind of funny. I'm gonna put those on the stove at a medium-high heat and wait for them to turn slightly brown on the side that's in the water and soft. That's happening, I am going to go to my blender. I'm going to throw in an onion, some cilantro, some garlic, and some lime. I also threw in a serrano pepper and a jalapeno pepper. You can make this as hot or mild as you want. While I'm making my salsa, I'm going to take the time to flip my rabbit over in the skillet. It should be a nice brown color on one side, and then we're going to wait for another 15 to 20 minutes for it to finish cooking through. Once that rabbit is brown on both sides, I'm going to put it on my cutting board to cool so that my fingers don't burn when I go to shred it. And why yes, I am drinking coffee at 5 p.m. I have 2 children to chase around the farm. I desperately need caffeine. Now you're going to have some grease and some brown ooey gooey stuff at the bottom of the pan. You're going to deglaze it with a little poor man's chicken broth, which is something I made up, which is just chicken bouillon and water. Just try it, it works. And you're going to scrape all of that stuff off the pan so that you can use this as a broth to finish cooking your rabbit in. This stuff also helps retain moisture in your rabbit because rabbit's really easy to overcook, but it's still delicious. At this point, your tomatillos should be nice and soft and ready to go into the blender. You're going to find your favorite blender helper to press the buttons. I promise, there's one around. See? She likes pressing the buttons like 20 times. She's the best little helper ever. And you're just going to blend that to your preferred smoothness. I like my salsa a little chunky. It's yummy. I also wanted to say that this stuff cans super nicely, so if you wanted to make a lot of it or make it when tomatillos were in season, it stores in your cabinets for a very long time. Next, I'm going to take my rabbit and shred it. This one's a little tougher to shred because it is a stewer and not a fryer, but I really like using rabbits that are older in this recipe because it's really easy to chop the meat up really small so it's not as tough. So like I prefaced, I'm just going to take that meat and I'm going to chop it into small pieces. You can chop it as large or as small as you want, but because again this is a stewer, I'm going to make the meat a little smaller so it's easier to chew through. You can also marinate the meat in some kind of acid such as lime juice or vinegar or wine, and it'll also help break down the meat so it's not quite as tough, but I was a little too lazy for that today, so we're going to chop the ever-living crap out of this meat and it's still going to be delicious. I'm going to take that meat and throw it back into the pan with that deglazed sauce that we had to give it a little extra flavor. And then once I have it all stirred around and nice and evenly distributed, I'm going to go ahead and give it a little taste to see what kind of spices I want to throw on next. Today I decided the flavors were going to be just a smidgen of onion powder, some cumin, a lot of cumin, to be honest. I love cumin. Some sage. A bit of basil. Basil, if you will. And of course, you can't forget garlic. Garlic is important. I think I also forgot to tell you I put garlic in the salsa. Yeah, I put garlic in the salsa, like a lot of garlic. Next, I'm going to start assembling my burrito, starting with a flour tortilla and a good amount of sour cream on top of that. You can't forget cheese. This is Monterey Jack. And of course, the rabbit. Wouldn't be rabbit burritos without it. And then you're going to see my horrible wrapping skills. Please applaud me in the comments because I actually did this one semi-decent and I didn't bust it open. I was so proud of myself. Normally Danny has to do this for me because I really suck at rolling, but it's kind of hard to do that when he's not here, so oh well. Then I'm going to take the burrito and I'm going to put it on one of the burners so that it kind of seals itself shut. No, I'm not kidding, right on the burner. That's the proper way to do it, I assure you. Once you're ready, you're just going to flip it over. So just ignore the cheese on the bottom, I'll clean it up later. It's all right. See, happy little burrito. Until it's nice and golden brown on both sides. Next, you're going to take your salsa verde and just smother your burrito in it. If you think this is too much salsa, we can't be friends because I don't think it's enough salsa. I have to add more. No, I'm not kidding. Then you gotta put a crap ton of cheese on top because you can't have a smothered burrito without too much cheese. The goal here is flavor and clogged arteries. It's delicious. Isn't she just glorious? But we're not done yet. We're gonna throw her into the microwave to make sure that her cheese on top is extra melty because melty cheese is the piece de resistance when it comes to smothered burritos. And there she is, beautiful as ever. I'm telling you, like, the melted cheese on top is amazing, and I guess you could throw it into the oven with the broiler on, but oh well. And Sydney loved her burrito. In case you were wondering where the bacon went, it was turned into bacon sprinkles because that is the appropriate way apparently to eat a burrito. And then are you a mom unless you have to get another spoon because your youngest stole it while she's eyeballing your food? Baby on hip to eat? Just the normal around here. She's very disappointed I wouldn't share. But it was delicious.
And there you have it, smothered rabbit burritos with a salsa verde. But I would love for y'all to try this and tell me what you think. And I want to thank y'all so much for getting this far and watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.